So good day guys, and welcome to today's tutorial series. Now in the previous video we talked about how we can verify our website on Google Search Console, so in which we did practical examples. So now basically once you verify your website with Google Console, Google does not automatically knows that okay, so you have these pages, you have this page, you have this page. Now we have to tell Google that okay, we have these pages, kindly index this. So to do that, we are going to need something I term these small files. So the first of which is robots.txt. Now to the first one, that is robots.txt. So what is robot.txt? So robot.txt is just like a security that is telling Google index this web page, don't index this web page, all in my website. Still important, this is important so as not to make your pages like your admin pages, your temporary pages, your authenticated pages to be indexed on Google. You can see user agent allow. So this allow means allow the base URL, that's at our startup.xyz here. So now the disallow here, you can see now disallow /admin route, private right, CGI bin route. So now other pages, you can add other pages / dashboard route, so prevents authorized pages from displaying on Google. So that's for disallow. Now you can now see something called sitemap here. So we are going to talk about what sitemap is. So let's move to sitemap. So we are here, sitemap. What's a sitemap? A sitemap is, from the name sitemap, is just like the map, that is the list of your web pages in your website. So sitemap is the list of your web pages in your website. For XML, that's extendable markup language. So now we can see this is the basic XML structure. Now here is where concerns us. So we can see all sites, all web pages would be included in the URL tag. So now in the URL tag, now let's study what we have inside. We have the URL, that's the location tag, subtag. So that's http our startup.xyz with the backslash here. So this to specify the URL. Now we have last modified date. So this is the last modified date, last mode. So this one is useful, like if you make some searches, for example, let's say you make latest news in Nigeria. So you can see things like 1 hour ago, 48 minutes ago, 2 hours ago. So this is as a result of the last mode date. Although yeah, there are some other things done, but yeah, this is the main reason. So last modified date, so that's 2026/07/28. If this tag is absent, if this last mode date is absent, Google just use the date, the time at which you indexed it, as the last modified date. So now the change frequency is daily. So daily, since it's an article website, you use daily. It's advised you use daily. Why is Google prefers websites that tells them, or that even in real action, that updates their websites frequently. So once you update your website frequently, daily, max of weekly, Google will prefer your website than that update monthly and so on. Although if you don't update your website daily, just put it weekly, because Google also dictates these things by itself. So we also have priority. Now priority is, once we have more pages, now we would have to tell Google that okay, my priority for ranking, for my priority for displaying on your Google search is, start with my first route, that's this, as 1.0. You can say my about page should be 0.9, contact should be 0.8, my pricing should be 0.6, and so on. So that's for the priority tag. So that's all from this sitemap.xml. So now we move to something else called the schema. So schema is not a file, so it's just a script embedded into our files. So now, for instance, we know, okay, Google knows website. Google knows how to read websites. Google knows the content of website. So, but writing just a long text, for example, we have this Google. Yes, Google sees this, that okay, this is a blog, so. But to interpret it well for Google, we need a schema text. We need a schema structure. So now, what is a schema structure? Schema structure is just like a structured data that is telling Google that okay, this is what this section is all about, and giving it more details. Mostly the user won't even see the more details. For instance, now we have this blog. This is a blog. Now this is a schema, article schema. This is an article schema. So we have article schema, we have person schema, we have article schema, we have person schema, we have organization schema, FAQ, entity, author, and so on. So now the first article schema is the first schema we're talking about is article schema. So how do we know which type of schema is this? So that's the type article. So now let's go to where concern source now. So now the headline, we can see headline is building startups tech infrastructure for modern startups. Now description is this description, image is this, date published is this, author is this. So now man give more description or give more details about a section of our website. So for example, if I'm building a portfolio, I need a person schema. This is how Google translate the person schema. For example, if I search for Ezra, now this is as a result of person schema. In a website or the other, the person schema of this guy must have been included. So that's that about that. And we have organization schema, something like base stack. Now we can see this is as a result of organization schema too as well. So that's all for the schema area. So the next one is canonical tag, or better still, canonical URL. So there are instances whereby you might have pages, for example, two pages that are similar or that are same. So, and in instances like this, Google won't really do it itself, that okay, I would index one, I will not index the other. So now you set the canonical URL to the original content, or better still, to the one you prefer. So that is this now. Canonical URL for this website is this startup.xyz. Let me give you URL, just say okay, this is the original page, and ignore the duplicates or ignore the copies and all of that. That's for canonical URL. Now we come to meta tags. So we have lots of meta tags, but we'll just pick the main. So now the first meta tag that is germane in SEO is meta tag title. So title tag, either the title tag or the meta title tag, both works well. So here we are using the title tag, so we can have this is the title tag. So the title tag is what basically shows here. So when we search up our startup.xyz, I have not indexed it, I just updated. When we search our startup.xyz, actually this is still there because I just made this blog update a few minutes ago. So now under development was our title tag. So this title tag is what will be displayed here by default. That will be what will be displayed here by default. There are some other conditions that can cause changes to it. So now, aside that, now the next one is meta tag description. So for description now, what does is that it just tells us that okay, this is the summary of my page, or this is the description of my page. By default, it's what's always here. By default, it will be what we put here by default. So now, but why I said by default it will be what is there is, it also depends on the search. For example, if I make let's search for something in real life. Let's say okay, Precious Adedokun. So when we search for Precious Adedokun, we can see now okay, this is the description here. Now let's make another search like Precious Adedokun courses. Now we can see the description is different. Why is the description different? Is because now Google now does not just say okay, because you included Precious Adedokun, I have to like use the description. So Google basically says okay, the user added courses. I don't just have to say okay, Precious Adedokun is a full stack developer. No, I don't have to say that part. I just have to talk about the courses. So that's why here you now see it's described about the courses, so it does not bring out my description. So that's why I said by default your meta tag description is here, but under some other circumstances you see other things. So that's why I said by default your meta tag description is one there. So but under other circumstances you can see something else, but it still relates to your website. So that's all for today's video. So I'll be dropping this GitHub repository in the comments, so in the description, I'll be dropping this GitHub repo in the description, so you can go and study the sitemaps and the robot.txt. That's all for today. Thanks guys for watching.